Hey Capricorn, so this is your story. It's a little bit of a different setup. Not really, it's just because she insisted on, let me show you. She insisted on being on the table. So we're gonna leave her there, we're gonna read around her. So Capricorn, this is your quantum story. This is kind of exciting. One of these cards, well, two cards, have really been coming out a lot lately for all kinds of different signs. So clearly there's a lot of collective stories going on, collective patterns that we're all working through. But here we go. Should have rearranged this before. Anyway, let's start with, as usual, the archetypal cards. Here's the Storm. We start here with the Storm, Gnosis, and the Father. So basically, what's going on is, again, for some of you it already happened, for some of you it's about to happen. This basically is two things. This is like a breakthrough, like a aha moment, like a lightning boom idea, the little light that comes out in the cartoons. They just got a brilliant idea. It's like a piece of information, it's like a download that comes to you. And what gets dropped into that download is this gnosis. It's like insight or spiritual knowledge or some tidbits of information that you've been missing from, to make it possible for you to heal. So it's being, you're going to go through some kind of breakthrough or download or incident. And so if you don't really get the breakthrough as a download, as a aha moment, wow, it might manifest in your physical form as a little fumble, a little incident, a little uncomfortable event, shocking event. Could be good, could be bad, you know. Could be a wonderful thing that happens that like gives you that like, oh, I've been waiting for that breakthrough. I've been waiting for that thing to happen that finally sets me free. And for some of you, it has a lot to do, oh, now she leaves. It has a lot to do with father energies. So that's, you know, so it's like an abandonment issue, or this is what you're trying to, this is what we're working on, the abandonment issue, the neglect, the avoidance, the authority, you know, the rebel, the shadow side of being a rebel, authoritative, manipulative, that kind of thing. So that's there's going to be a little drop of an insight or a solution or an answer or whatever it is when it relates to your abandonment issues or your authority figure wounds or whatever it is that it is showing up for you in your reality. So the first card for the Animals Oracle Spirit deck, Spirit Animal Oracle deck, is the Eagle Spirit. Spirit has your back. So this is why I say it feels strongly like a download, is it comes straight from the spiritual world. Because they have your back, because they're here for you, they're working with you, and they know this is your time. This has been, if you can hear that, disregard. It's just the neighbors outside taking their trash out. And if you can't hear it, never mind, I said that. So that's why I say it's a little drop, it's a little download from the universe. That's like a breakthrough. Parrot Spirit is next. Watch your words. And Snake Spirit, time to heal. So I think one of the things we're working on with this, look, they're facing each other, they're looking at each other. The one thing that you need to work on to heal in this situation is probably your mouth. Probably the way you respond, react, communicate, is something that you're working on. From this download, maybe you'll understand like, oh, I always just respond with harsh words and that triggers them even more, or that Maybe you engage in drama and arguments that really you just know your soul, you know, you can feel like, what the hell am I doing? But for some reason you still have that impulse to engage a few sentences in before you dip out. And I think one of the things that you're healing is that tendency to talk, to perhaps say a few harsh things, or just not even harsh things. Maybe you just engage. Maybe it's literally drama. Stay out of dramatic conversations. If the other person wants to pick a fight and you know it's ridiculous, but you know for maybe you're right about it, and you want to prove a point, or you don't want them to get away with thinking they're right, maybe it's time to just listen. You can explain yourself or say whatever it is, how many times you want for them to understand. Give it up. Just look at them and laugh, love them, and be like, all right, cool. You fight with yourself. That's happened to me a few times where you could definitely hear that. I don't know. Where I remain so still in just the not engagement of just an argument or a drama or a fight. I remain so still that like the other person just wants to pick and pick, and after a while you're so still that you can watch them pick at themselves. It's like they're arguing with themselves and they're using you, but really it's just like you can watch them dance with themselves and just like try to pick at you, and it bounces right off of you right back onto them, and you're just like, okay, all right, and they just keep going. Anyway, watch your words. That's probably one of the things that I said probably twice, and a huge no just happened in my head. Forget the word probably. This definitely is a story about maybe you talk back. Maybe that's like the authority, the rebel in you, just like you want to talk back. You want to prove a point. You want to make sure that your voice is heard, and it's important to do that, but not when it's just engagement and just dramatic and incident and fights that really just are meaningless. Save your energy, that kind of thing. And then the last three cards we have for the Shaman Oracle deck. So these are the two cards that have been coming out a lot lately for my readings. Is the Wild Woman. Okay, it's happening. Maybe not. I may sneeze. Excellent. Excuse me. Move it. Just kidding. Wild Woman and the Journey. So this is, excuse me, wow. This is my card of just being free from just dropping all the burden, dropping all the bullshit, dropping people try to put things onto you, they project their stuff onto you. Get really good at just being so free that you don't want any involvement in anything that isn't fun for you, that kind of thing. The Journey card here is the message is that perhaps the reason why, I said perhaps, and here it is again, the reason why you feel the need to explain yourself or maybe make them understand that you're right, or like you're trying to get them to see things in a different way, and you always just, that's why you engage in these arguments, is because you know you make a very valid point, and if they could only see it your way, they would understand something to a higher level, or they would understand you. And that finally, once that happens, we can just have some peace. This is telling you, that especially the Journey card is telling you that you are so focused on the destination that you're not enjoying the journey that is very much a healing journey. You just want to get to a place where everything's going to be peaceful, and because you're no longer fighting, when the journey really is that you're going to become this peaceful first person, and the things around you are going to change only because you're not going to engage anymore. So this is telling you, if you reach this point where you're completely free of engaging in any kind of BS out there, instead of focusing so much on, and then things will be peaceful once they understand me, it'll be, oh, now I'm in the moment, now I'm living life, because I'm no longer engaging in things that like are annoying or pain in the butt to me, and then things are fine. Then you can live your life instead of just reaching for the destination where everything is okay. It's like you're gonna be okay, that no matter what they throw at you, this is life. And so the moon here was very clear that it told me that this is definitely a cycle. So it's a cycle that you're going through, and whoever, this is a person or a situation or whatever, friend, family, you know the drill. Whatever it is, it's a cycle for both you and them. So it's almost like both of you, the situation and you, or you and the other person, are in this dance, because you both have to learn that from each other. You have to learn to disengage. You have a cycle of engaging in these arguments because you need to feel understood, because for some reason you felt abandoned and now you need to prove something, that you were right or that you're worthy. You have to prove something to some type of authority figure, and that is your cycle that you're learning to break or healing from. And their cycle is that they need to, this is an example, maybe they grew up in a place where there was a lot of drama, and that became like their comfort zone. Like at least I know if they fight for me or they fight with me or they argue with me, they still care. Once people stop fighting, once people abandon ship and stop arguing with me and fighting and engaging in my dramatic stories, I will feel abandoned. Maybe this is, you're both reflecting this to each other, where you felt abandoned, so now you need to prove your worth and state your point and make sure that you're right, so that the people will see how valuable you are. And they need to have this need to feel like someone will engage with whatever they're coming up with, because that makes them feel cared for. And if you weren't going to do that, then that makes them feel abandoned. And so you're both sort of in this repetitive cycle of, if you engage, they come up with more. They want more fights. And if you don't engage, you will heal, and then you will see your exterior change. Whether that means that, it depends on, I don't want to say it. If your karma is to figure this out together and teach each other, then you healing yourself will help their healing. Or if your karma is that it's your cycle and you need to get out of that cycle, and once you get out of this cycle, they fade away from your life, because they can no longer feel cared for by you. If this is the way that they care and you're no longer feeding into their insecurity and their abandonment issues, then they might just leave, and that's the end of the story, because they're going to start this entire cycle with someone else who'll engage them, because that's the only thing that makes them feel loved. And that is not your job. That is none of your worry. What they do after this, my advice, my unsolicited advice, is let it go. Let it happen. If they need to go, they need to go. If they learn the value of not having to go through this to feel cared for, that is up to them. But I wouldn't hold on to the hope of them changing because you're changing. That is my story. It's not at all personal. So good luck, Capricorn, and I will see you next time.